So, of course, the number of teams you'll need depends on your congregation. And you'll need more people on each team than will help each Sunday, of course, because people maybe will only help 2 out of the 4 Sundays during the shift. Out of town, they won't be available all the time. That's to be expected. And adjust the number of teams to your congregational size and the activity level, how many tasks you may want to try and complete on a Sunday morning. And adjust the type and number of these tasks to fit your needs. And of course, you know your needs better than anyone else. So, and a few more numbers about us. The UUFCC has 5 hospitality teams. Each team has about 45 or 50 people. We have about 280 UUFCC, UUA members, about 140 average Sunday attendance, and 250 active congregants. Those are people that are member-earning visitors that attend regularly. About 90% of those people actually participate on the teams, in some way help to running a Sunday morning. And
how long did it take to get there?
The question was, how long did it take to get there? And I think that happened very quickly because we implemented it all at once. It was one way, and then we switched over to this new way. And actually, this last number, 10% of team members are not UUFCC members. We thought that was going to be a lot higher. But then we realized that as soon as people start on a hospitality team, they end up getting connected, and then they want to become members within maybe 6 months or so. So that number is
10% are
low.
And some visitors maybe have done that for 2 years, but mostly that seems to boost them into wanting to be officially involved.
Yeah. It gets those returning visitors involved in the community life and want to become more of a part of the fellowship.
Also, the 90%, I don't know whether we fudged those numbers or not, that the denominator does not count people that just can't help.
Right.
Right. Never come, or they're so old that just can't do anything. But people that are pretty old and seldom come can bake or buy something and come 2 Sundays. So.
Here's a sample team shift rotation that gets passed around. We have a date, a Sunday date, which hospitality team is on duty, and we pass around the service topic in advance. So that can be passed around to the person doing the visual display if they would like to theme the display to service topic. And doing the following things will help keep your hospitality teams healthy. And this is the last set of info I have before we can dive into more detailed questions some more. So communicate often, continually add new team members, having new returning visitors, identify and train new leaders, and have a yearly team leaders meeting. So keep communication strong to keep everything working. The overall coordinator sends reminder emails to team leaders. They chat in person to check in about how everything is going. Communicators send reminders to the team members during the weeks of the shift. Keeping the job descriptions readily available is great, and it makes it easier to complete tasks and remind people. And establish within the hospitality teams and congregation a culture of appreciation. People feel appreciated for the work they're doing. They're much happier to do that work. Add new team members every shift. So we have sort of a constant influx of people visiting, trying our congregation out. So ask those regular visitors if they'd like to have Sunday morning hospitality after they've been coming for a while. And then, as I said before, we also essentially expect new members to participate after they sign our book and join. And all team members can help recruit new team members and just spread the word on how Sunday morning hospitality works. And I just want to say, remember that new people want to help and to connect to everyone else, because that is one of the main reasons why they're there. So continuously identify and nurture new team leaders. Leadership positions for the team should only be about 2 years max. We don't want this to be one of those committees where it's a lifetime commitment to be chair. And that probably never happens in your congregation. One thing that's worked really well for us is to invite potential leaders to shadow the current leader, follow a facilitator around for the day. They can see exactly what's happening. Once a task becomes finite, I find that it makes it much easier to wrap your head around it and say, oh yeah, I can do that. So you might want to ask the email-savvy people to be the communicators, and ask the hands-on and people to be the facilitators. And you can, of course, split the leader jobs as necessary to whatever works for you. And it takes planning to continue to have and train new leaders. So that'll be one of those upkeep things that will be one of the most challenging after everything gets off and running smoothly. And have a yearly team leaders meeting. We usually do ours in August. It's a coordination meeting between all of the team leaders. It's a time to remind people of their responsibilities, summarize any changes or updates that may have occurred, and importantly, create a forum for feedback and the exchange of ideas. We have everyone running a little bit independently and doing their things their own way. So they can share success stories about how they did something, or maybe if they're having a problem, a challenge with some task, another group may say, oh, we had the same problem and this is how we solved that. And of course, thank your leaders for their hard work and leading.
I should say about this photo, that's actually not a team leader meeting, that's a board meeting at the fellowship. We neglected ever, I guess, to take a team leader brainstorming party.
Yeah.
We have a Panera's in town where back rooms, we hold 20 people or so, and we go there, and it's actually fun. You go and eat and sit around, so it's not, that looks a little more grim than
Leaders can be fun. They don't have to be, the meetings don't have to be sterile.
We sort of bill them, I think, as brainstorming sessions.
Yeah.
Jason,
Yes.
you'd mentioned 5 teams, so is that for a 10-month period? Is that how you do yours? Or?
So 5 teams, a 4-week rotation for each team. So that'd be 20 weeks passing, and then you'd start again. So it's about 2.5 times a year that your team come up on their 4-week shift.
It's good that recesses like that. You don't want to have the same team always in the summer or always at Christmas.
Yeah. And so we maybe change the order slightly for the holiday season so the same one doesn't get it 2 years in a row,
And
etc.
does it start in September or does it start in January?
It's rolling, it starts, it just starts and keeps going, and then it just overlaps when it overlaps. So we have 5 teams, so we have 5 communicators, and then we have several facilitators for each team. So it could be 3 or 4 people. So it might be 15 or 20 people total that end up making it. So a few other pieces of advice from running it for, I guess, almost 6 years now. Things that we found have worked better. Thanking people often, verbally, in person, or over the phone. Newsletter notes. In the order of service, we actually say which team is on duty and give a little thank you each Sunday. To avoid sign-ups, it's better to ask for availability. If people are asked for sign-up, they'll see maybe many open spots and put their name in one spot. And it doesn't really get everything done when that happens. So say, which of these 4 Sundays are available? Maybe they say 2 or 3 Sundays, and then you say, okay, great. If you have a preference for any task, okay, and then assign them to a task each of the Sundays they're available. And this works out really, really well.
Also, bake and buy is not a role. Everybody all bring some bread. You got to greet or usher.
Yeah.
Also, 2 out of the 4 Sundays bring something.
Yeah. So bringing snacks is separate and sort of an add-on to those tasks. And the facilitator shouldn't do the task, but facilitate. We don't want them to burn out. The communicator should send email reminders every week to keep people up to date on what's going on and remind them about what their job may be. And this is not individual emails to each person, but sort of a mass email saying, here's the schedule for this week.
Jason, could you step back just a
Oh, excuse me. And make detailed job descriptions so anyone can do the task when they pick up the sheet of paper and look at it. Encourage and empower team members to do things their way. There's no one right way. There's many right ways to accomplish all of these tasks. And ask returning visitors if they'd like to help with hospitality. I believe you'll be surprised at how many and actually how soon visitors want to get involved. Even after 2 weeks sometimes, people are already like, hey, let me help make coffee. So that's great. And a lot of these things are just summarized on the information we gave out and also available on our website
Yeah, some of the
too.
best things are on the back of the front sheet, so.
Yeah. And then, so basically, hospitality teams complete the Sunday morning tasks, but more importantly, they have energized, grow, and deepened our congregation. I think they can do that for yours as well. So we hope you'll get some new mugs in your kitchen. So, okay. Thanks. Hey.